This is a show about facing fear, unlocking courage, and taking action.
Courage isn't necessarily a daunting thing.
It's going to give you more purpose. It's going to give you more drive.
It feels like making a courageous decision is going to get you closer to who you aspire to be.
It's knowledge plus faith plus action equals courage.
The mentality shouldn't be looking to reduce the friction. It should be to produce the friction. What are the hard conversations that need to be had? How do you summon them to the surface? And then how do you create a safe enough environment to have those conversations? Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Courageous Podcast. I believe I'm correct here where this is my third solo version of the pod. Usually I have, an amazing guest come on and I get a chance to share their story and their lives. But I do like sort of sneaking in these solo journeys where I can share a little bit about my point of view. And usually what I try to do is I will stumble into something in the real world and it'll kind of just rub me the wrong way, or, I've got something to say about that. And I think that's exactly what this episode is. About 2 weeks ago, I had run into an ad that was served up to me. And it was a new book that someone had put out in the world. And I'm not here to vilify authors. I mean, I know how hard that is. But the title of the book and the promise of the book, it was just another sort of signal in a series of signals that I had seen about change that felt false to me. And the premise of the ad was how to make change effortless and how to make business effortless. And it just made me laugh because as an entrepreneur who's been doing this for over 20 years, I don't think it gets easier. I think the world continues to evolve. It continues to move. And we need to continue to move too. There's no effortless about it. If I could go to Congress and ask for an 8th day of the week, I would do it just because we would get an extra day of rest that we need to take on all of the pain that comes with constantly evolving, constantly moving, constantly changing. Another signal of why I wanted to talk about this is I'm in one of these little networking groups, and it's a monthly event where I live in San Diego, and I get to be with other brilliant entrepreneurs and learn from them, and we're constantly trying to upskill our own skills and competencies. A lot of talk about AI, but every once in a while you get to put yourself in the hot seat and learn from all these amazing folks. And I remember one time doing this. Someone had suggested that maybe my mantra should be the concept of unpaid change, and great in theory, but I don't see how that is actually how change happens. It is painful and it is hard. And what we continue to see from competitors when we pitch for change business with our clients are a lot of the big 4, big 5 are going in and they're promising to reduce friction inside an organization. And I just think that is not how change happens, because change is hard and it just is. Change is painful. Change takes time. Change takes clarity. Change takes belief. Change takes consistency. Change doesn't happen when a CEO says something once. It happens when we say it over and over and over again, like an IV drip. And so the idea of being able to go in and promise a client, it sounds great to pitch that you can reduce friction. We see it as the opposite. And if you're listening, you can't see what's behind me, which is our step and repeat where it says brave what's hard. But our philosophy is you don't reduce friction. You have to actually produce friction. Whether you ever work with Courageous or not, if you are in a seat where you actually have the say, the wherewithal, where you can make an impact and actually drive a change project forward inside your organization, I think the mentality shouldn't be looking to reduce the friction. It should be to produce the friction. And you're actually looking as fast as possible to make a safe arena to address the hard stuff. The more we've experimented in this change missions arena, the more I know for a fact we're very, very good. I feel like we thrive at the starting line of change. And that is, what are the hard conversations that need to be had? How do you summon them to the surface? We say we're corporate fear fighters. So how are you going out and looking for where fear may exist inside the organization? And then how do you create the irony, the word I'm going to use, a safe enough environment to have those conversations? The ABCs of change, where it starts with the A is alignment, the B is belief, and the C is clarity. And so if you're looking for alignment and you're looking to create belief, then you need to have clarity. But it all starts first with having the courage to summon to the table those hard conversations. So yes, the good news is it's possible. And the bad news is, if you find yourself running into someone who says to you, effortless, it can be effortless, or unpaid change, or we promise to help you reduce friction. I mean, it's almost like when you pull, you're walking your dog and you're trying to take your dog one way, and the minute you pull the leash one way, the dog wants to go the other way. That needs to be you, okay? Because there's nothing easy about change. And yet we still all need to attack it. So it doesn't mean that we need to be fearful about it. We get to actually drive this process for us. The cavalry is not coming. It has to be you. And where I would start is by addressing the fact that no one does it alone. Let's summon out those hard conversations. It's funny, I ran into a LinkedIn study, and I've got to find the study. I think the data said that 95% of our people would rather bite their lip than have the hard conversation. What happened to us that we're not even willing to engage in the conversation? Is it that we don't feel we'll even be heard? Have we seen enough from leadership that's working against us that it just doesn't make sense, or we're not aligned? And this is, by the way, like the beginning of the quiet quitting era, right? So again, your job as a leader is to create a safe enough arena where people will speak up and speak their truth. And then it's like, let's lock arms and figure out what we could do together about it. I wish that there was a more comfortable way to take on change. I just haven't seen it. And just the last thing I'd say is, there's a lot of data out there on change initiatives, and how, I think, the last statistic I saw was that even when you need to change, 70% of the time, change initiatives fail. Well, the flip of that means that 30% of the time a change initiative is successful. If I'm batting 300, I'm in the Hall of Fame in baseball. And I can promise you, if you don't try to change, right, you will absolutely fail. And it is a classic Ryan Berman keynote line, but the amount of times I've said change is hard, but the hardships that come from not changing are far harder. So rather be part of the solution and start at the beginning. Don't look at the finish line, just start at the starting line. And those ABCs have changed. How do I get alignment? How do we rebuild belief? And are we being clear? Do we have clarity to do it? The last thing I'll say is that the original tagline at Courageous on the leadership side of our business was just 2 words. It was believe again. And at one point under a leader, maybe we did believe. And at one point in a company, there was growth and there was relevance. And over time, maybe some of that eroded. And over time, maybe a new leader came in and changed directions on you. Or then another leader came in and changed directions on you. And the bigger we got, the message got a little watered down. And we lost belief, and things wavered. And again, maybe that's just a simple question. I mean, again, if you're still listening here, we're 9 minutes in, it's a quick hit. Get a piece of paper out and write down, what will it take for us to believe again? And let's kind of summon out all the things that need to be addressed. By the way, it doesn't matter if you're an entrepreneur, if you're the CEO, if you're the CMO, if you choose to see yourself as a leader, then take a cut at this. Also, bring the question to your team. Do we still believe? And if no, what will it take for us to believe again? No question that this idea changes. It's a complicated one. I love the space. I love the idea of like, even if you get knocked down, getting back up and going again and taking a run at it. And with so much change going on right now and how AI is implementing our business, we've seen, I mean, I guess if this brings any solace, if you feel the pain of the way business is moving, just know you're not alone. It is all over the board where companies are dealing with uncertainty and they're dealing with uncomfortable conversations. And just, again, the cavalry is not coming. If it's got to be you, it's got to be you that actually summons this conversation to the table. And I've always joked, for being in the courage business, that my job is to make it as safe as possible for you to leap, right? I'm almost trying to take the courage out of courage. There is no change without courage, and there's no courage without fear. So start with bringing the fears to the table. Let's have the courageous conversations. Let's try to get clear on where we're going, and that's how you restore belief. All right, folks, be good.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Courageous Podcast. If you enjoy the show, don't forget to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts so more people can find us. See you again next week.